Hello and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen and today we are going to be making an all-natural unscented goat milk soap, and I will be sharing the full recipe in the description box below. I formulated this recipe. It's also a palm-free recipe. I formulated this off of, if you saw a previous video I did of test batch soaps and how to formulate soaps, this is a version of number 3 on that, which I've tweaked around. Anyway, that was my springboard. I'll share the full recipe and talk you through it as we go. One of the special ingredients in this palm-free recipe is a good healthy dose of this organic unrefined hemp seed oil. This stuff is wonderful. It is so nutrient dense and emollient, and it's just a wonderful oil for bath and body products. I love hemp seed oil. So that we'll use a good portion of that in here, and I will be doing the goat milk in oil method, and I'll show you and talk you through how I water discount to make room for the goat milk in this soap. Of course, unscented. There's no fragrant oil to talk about or essential oil. So let's talk about the coloring. I will do my colloidal oats like I normally do because I think those are so wonderful, and white kaolin clay and rose kaolin clay will be the color swirls today. So that is about it. I can't think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. I'm not used to doing a very plain, simple soap. So, and by the way, forgive the post-walking workout outfit. I figured y'all would forgive me. We're doing a natural soap today, so you know, we're just gonna go for the natural look. Kind of goes hand in hand. Anyway, enough about that. Let me get everything pulled together for soap making, and we will come back and make some really wonderful, not complicated, unscented goat milk soap. All right, I figured I'd bring you along while I prep my lye water, and let me tell you what's going on here for this recipe volume today. It requires 24 ounces of liquid and 13.6 ounces of sodium hydroxide. So what I have here is 14 ounces of distilled water to equal out. So what I'm trying to say is, I never quite know how to describe this. Whatever volume of lye you have, you need at least that much liquid to mix with it. You never go less liquid than lye. So I always like to err on the side of caution. So this is 13.6. I have 14 in here. And then the remaining 10 ounces of liquid will be my goat milk that I will add to the oils. So that's how I figure the water discount is. My lye volume is the determining factor. So whatever volume that is, you can go that shallow to mix and then use the extra in fruit puree, you know, pumpkin, milk. That can be your extra volume. So here is the basic lye water. I have a tablespoon of cane sugar dissolved in my water right now. I just put it in there while I measure out my lye. It dissolves really quick. This is chilled. I keep my distilled water bucket in, or gallon bucket in the refrigerator, so it's cool, but the sugar dissolves in there. Here is my tuss of silk fibers, just a little cotton ball size. I'm gonna go ahead and snip that up in here, and then we will pour our lye over the top, and it will dissolve almost immediately. As soon as it heats up, it dissolves very quickly. So there's the little silk fibers. Here goes the lye. You want to stand back. You definitely do not want to breathe those fumes or get them in your face or anything. You don't have to fear lye, but you do need to be cautious. So, all right, there's no more grit feeling. The silk is all dissolved. I'm actually going to go throw this in an ice bath because I'm not very patient. You can make this up the day ahead, or, you know, but when I make soap on the fly like this, I have to go use ice bath. So I'm going to pop this in the ice bath, then we'll come back and measure out our oils. All right, it's soap additives time. Here is the oil bucket. Look at that gorgeous color. That's from the hemp seed oil. Let me tell you what's going on in here. I have 30 ounces of coconut oil. I have 4 ounces of shea, 4 ounces of cocoa butter, 12.6 ounces of hemp seed oil, 4.8 ounces of castor, and 40 ounces of olive oil. That's the volume that I'm doing. I'll leave percentages down below in the recipe. That I'll even show a picture here. You can pause the video and you'll see the percentages and the ounces so that you can tweak this recipe to whatever volume you want. Anyway, let's get on to the additives. So here is my 10 ounces of farm fresh goat milk. Gotta love it. That's going in. And I have a new additive that I'm going to be making part of my regular lineup, which I'll talk about in a minute. First, here's my kaolin clay, my white kaolin clay. I'm going to set it off to the side because I'm going to split the batter in half and do the rose and the white in the different buckets. So the kaolin is going to get saved off for later. So here is my colloidal oats, which you know I love that. I'm going to do a heaping 2 tablespoons scoop in there. And my new additive that I'm going to be putting in more of my soaps is this heavy cream powder, and it just makes a really luxurious creamy lather. The lactic acids in milk are really good for your skin, so I'm going to use my scoop here and do, you know, probably 2 tablespoons. There we go. And since this is a milk soap anyway, I feel like this just goes along with it. So you'll be seeing me use a little bit more of this in the future. So let me get these blended in, and my lye solution is in an ice bath cooling off. We should be able to proceed forward shortly. So let's get this blended up for now. It's time to get moving forward and adding the lye mixture. I figured I'd take the temperature here and show you what I'm soaping at. All right, the oils are 86 and the lye solution is 84. So that's pretty close and that's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and add the lye solution, and I'm going to just go to emulsion because I'm going to mix the clays in after I've added the lye, and I want to make sure they're really well and incorporated. So go ahead and get this in, and we're just going to emulsion before we split this in half, and we'll get to those beautiful clays in there. So the way I do that is you can stir with your stick blender. You don't always have to buzz with it. So stir and buzz. And you will see this darken up a little as the lye reacts with the goat milk. It will caramelize a little, and that's totally normal when you're using milk products. So one of the things I love about these poly containers is they have measurements, and I can see here we're at about 4 liters on the side. So when I take my other one, I can split off close to half. I mean, I'm not measuring this because I'm not doing fragrances or anything, but you know, I want to get close to half. So I'm going for about 2 liters over here in this bucket. There we go. And now let's get our clays in here. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the white in there, and use the same scoop. We'll do 2 tablespoons of the rose over here. There we go. next morning, and I can't wait to get in and see how those swirls came out. It was very fluid when I poured it, but I have good hopes that it's going to be beautiful and swirly. I did come in and steam the top. That's the shine that you're seeing. It is dry to the touch, but that's a steam top for you. It didn't have soda ash, but it was a little dull. And this did go through gel phase last night. I covered the mold with a blanket and just checked on it. It heated up very nicely. So we had gel phase, all that good stuff. And the other thing that I forgot to mention in the ingredients is I did put sodium lactate in the lye solution. And sodium lactate you use at a rate of 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. So whatever volume you're making. And it helps unmold. It helps the soap firm up faster to unmold easier is what it does. It's not necessary. You can totally skip it if you don't want to use it. I like to use it, so I do, but it's not a necessary ingredient. I'm just saying if you don't have it, don't sweat it. Let's get this out. That rose, kale, and clay is just a very gentle color. I think these are beautiful. And of course, they just smell soapy today. It's time to cut these bars with the lovely Olga, and there's just something beautiful and simple about these. They're very soothing, very earthy looking. I'm tickled. I think these are fabulous, and I'm really loving this recipe. It behaved beautifully, mixing it, getting to a nice trace. It behaved great. It unmolded great today, the next day. So I'm tickled with this recipe. I hope y'all give it a try. If you do, let me know how you like it. Oh, yay. Those are pretty swirls. And again, we're not going to get a white soap because that hempseed oil had the really dark, nutrient, dense green color. And so it's going to be an ivory. It's not going to have a green tinge to it, but you won't get a pure white soap with the hempseed oil, but I think that's quite lovely, to be honest. All right, let's try this. You know I got to try it. There we go. Swirls, love it. Very subtle, very earthy. I think these are just wonderful. I'm tickled. Tickled, tickled. All right, let's get into the next loaf. And I wanted to talk a little bit about recipes. So sometimes when I give recipes, I give the ounces, and I've had people ask me, can you give percentages? Let me tell you a little trick. If you go to Soap Calc and put in the ounces, it will automatically give you the percentages, and then you can size it down any way you want. So there's a trick for you. You don't have to, and vice versa. If somebody gives you percentages, go to Soap Calc and put those in, and then click the ounces button, and it will show you the ounces, or the grams if you like to do grams. So Soap Calc is a handy little tool that way. So just a tip. So I'm just going to keep cutting these, and I'm going to let these sit for a couple of hours, and then we'll come back in and do the trimming and the stamping on them. And if you give this recipe a try, again, I sure would love to hear how you like it, how it turned out for you. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe and that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything going on here at the channel.